Hello everyone. In this video, I am gonna share JCL interview question and answers for experienced candidates. If you have not subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe the channel and support me for posting more videos. Also feel free to like and provide your comments for this video. Let's get started.
What are the different private libraries available in JCL? JobLib, JCLib, ProcLib, StepLib, or the different private libraries used in the JCL. JCL lib statement basically used for procedures and include groups. It identifies the name of your private libraries to execute the procedures coded in your exec statement. The system basically searches the libraries in which you specify them in the JCL lib statement. If the procedure is not present in any of the libraries specified in the JCL lib, then the system will search in the system library. So let's look at the example of a JCL lib. In our example, the system will search the procedure proc A in emergency library first, that is tsta.lib.job.emer. If the procedure is not available in this library, the system will search the procedure in tsta.lib.job.prod. Then it will search in tsta.lib.job.other. If the proc A is not available in any of these libraries, then the system will search in the system library for executing proc A. Example of JobLib and StepLib. StepLib applies only to the particular step, whereas JobLib applies to all the steps in your job. When you code both JobLib and StepLib, the program will be searched in the StepLib first. When the load module of the program is present in StepLib, it will execute. Otherwise, the load module will search in the JobLib. If the load module is not present in the JobLib also, then the program will be searched in the system library such as sys1.linglib. When the program is not present in any of the library, including the system library, then the job will abandon with S806, that is load module not found. Look at the step 0 to 0. We have a PGMEA program to be executed in step 0 to 0. When the job starts executing this step, the system will search in lib.steplib.g1 first. Then it will search in lib.joblib.g1, which is specified in the joblib. If PGMEA is not present in steplib or joblib, then the system will search in the system library. When step 030 start the execution, PGMB will be searched in lib.joblib.g1 and then it will search in the system library. When step 040 start the execution, system search the PGBC in lib.steplib.g2 first. Then it will search in lib.joblib.g1 and then it will search in system library. Next question, how do you create temporary dataset? You can use ampersand or double ampersand for creating temporary dataset. So in general, a single ampersand followed by a variable refers to override parameter. So it is better to use a double ampersand for creating temporary dataset. So as part of good practice, we always use double ampersand for creating temporary dataset. We use temporary dataset to carry the output from one step to another step within the same job. The temporary dataset will not be retained once the job completes. In this example, temp A is a temporary dataset which is created in step 1. It passes to the next step, that is step 2. In step 2, the data from temp A dataset is copied into myid.test.ps2 dataset. do you run a COBOL batch program from JCL? How to run a non-DB2 program, that is only COBOL program, you can simply code step name exec pgm equal to your COBOL program name. You can also specify the step lib and job lib if required. So when you want to execute a COBOL program via JCL, the program needs to be compiled first, and then a load module is created. So in the real time, the name of the load module is same as your program name. In our example, PGME is load module name. If it is a COBOL DB2 program, then your run JCL will be like this. You can use IKJFT utility to run a COBOL DB2 program. Before using this JCL, you need to modify DBRM library, system program name, plan name, and load module library name based on your requirement. Your COBOL DB2 program name, DB2 subsystem, DB2 plan name, load module names are passed within the sys tsn dd statement. The DBRM library is specified in the step lib. Next question, what will happen if you attempt to restart a job in the middle of if and end if in JCL? The job will fail again, so we need to remove the if and end if statement before restarting the step, or you can just comment the if statement and then choose appropriate step for restarting the job. Next question, what is the purpose of dummy keyword in the JCL statement? Dummy keyword is used to ignore the file IO operation. The DD statement will be coded like this: in DD1 DD dummy. Here the operation of in DD1 is nullified during the execution. Another use of dummy parameter is for testing the program. Initially you can code dummy. Once the testing is completed, you can replace the dummy with the DD statement that you defines the dataset. Next question, how can you trap abundance in JCL? You can trap abundance in JCL using if abundance statement. Next question, without using JCL, is it possible to execute a batch job in mainframe? Batch job in mainframe, you can use tso exec command to execute the job. So the format is tso space exec space your program name. Suppose my program name is pgma, which resides in test.lib1. I can execute my program A using this command tso space exec within the quotes test.lib of pgma. What are the three parameters you can specify on job statement as well as an exec statement? Time, region, and condition parameters can be coded in step as well as in execution statement. Next question, my dataset got deleted automatically. What would have happened? The reason could be the dataset can be moved to the tape. So you need to check with your admin or storage team on this. Some project uses multiple management or data class specifications. So check whether the management class assigned to some retention period. For example, some management management group is assigned only for 30 days. So if you create a dataset with that particular management group, then after 30 days, your dataset will get deleted automatically. You can also use retention period for your dataset using this JCL. In this JCL, the retention period is given as 5. So the dataset will be retained for 5 days. After 5 days, the dataset will get deleted. Next question, how to check whether the dataset exists or not? In this example, I have used listget command to verify whether my dataset exists or not. So look at here. This is my step. Here I am checking user id dot file a dot ps1 is exist or not using listcat entries. If this file is exist, then my JCL will return 4. The IDCAMS will return code will be 4 if my input dataset is not available in the catalog. So you can use if and end if statement to validate this scenario like this. If return code equal to 0, then the data is exist. Else means that dataset is not exist. How to identify whether the input file is empty or not? You can use IDCAMS utility to verify whether the input dataset is empty or not. So you can basically print the command like this: print ds user id dot file dot ps1 ch count of 1. If we have more one or more records available in the dataset, then we will get return code 0. Otherwise, you will be getting 4 or 12. 4 means empty file, 12 means the file itself not exist. The other way is used to file ID. The step return the return code value as 04 if the file does not contain any records. If you are allowed to use ICE tool, then you can use ICE tool to verify whether the file is empty or not using count statement, count from in file empty. If the return code is 12, then the dataset is empty. If the return code is not 12, then the file is not empty. Next question. How to run only first step and remaining steps should be skipped? One of the possible way is used to COND parameter, that is condition parameter. Here COND equal to 0, LE or COND equal to 4095, GE can be coded at the job. Assume my job returns the return code as 4. Okay, the condition will be checked like that. 0 is less than or equal to 4. Condition is false, so it will skip. Other way is simply you can add a delimiters before the second step. Next question. In my JCL, I have 10 steps and I want to execute 6 steps first and then need to execute step 3. How can I achieve this logic? Answer. We can use IEB edit if the JCL does not contain any condition or if-else control structure. You can refer the example mentioned here. However, I recommend you to test the JCL once for this scenario. Here I am using IEB edit utility. In control card, I use edit type equal to include, step name equal to the corresponding steps to be executed. Next question. My job processed few records and due to some runtime problem, the job got abandoned. How do you handle this situation? So you can use checkpoint logic. We can process from the last record or from the first record based on the requirement. Checkpoint equal to last means it will process from the last record in which the job got abandoned. Checkpoint equal to force means it will start from the first record. Let's say we will commit for each and every 10 records. Assume my input file contains 10,000 records. While processing the 500th record, my job abandoned due to some issues like environment down or timeout abandoned or data issue or some other issue. In this case, the checkpoint entries till 500th records are stored in the checkpoint file or table. So the value stored in the checkpoint will be till 490 because we process for every 10 records. When your checkpoint equal to lost is coded, the system will refer the checkpoint file or table and start processing from the 491st record. Otherwise, we need to process from the first record. When we process from the first record again, then CPU execution time will be wasted again. So this is an advantage of using checkpoint restart logic. Next question. I just need the first and last two records from the input file. The one way is you can use the iStool program with below control card. Keep first two and last two using CTL1. In CTL1, I have mentioned the sort statement. So if you know any other possible ways, just post your answers in the comment section. How do you rename GDG generation or PS dataset? I have given a couple of examples to rename GDG generation or physical sequential dataset. In the first example, I used ID const utility with alter command. In the second example, I used ikjft01 utility with rename command to rename the generation file or PS dataset. Next question. How are GDGs concatenated? GDGs are concatenated by specifying the generation numbers or GDG base. In the first example, I used the generation datasets. This is my input DD name, CCUT1. So it contains a list of generations. So all these generation files are concatenated and copied into the output file. So this example is useful when you want to copy only few generation or a specific generations to be copied into the output file. When you want to copy all the generation file into new file, then you can use the second example. You can simply give the GDG base name in the input DD name, input dataset. So this will copy all the GDG generation into the output file. Next scenario. My job has 3 steps. Step 1 to create new GDG file. Step 2 to delete the GDG file, my GDG generation file that is created in step 1. In step 3, I am creating new GDG file with the same GDG base name. Assume the following GDG versions are already available. My GDG.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 versions are already available. How do you refer the versions of each file? Okay, in step 1, I'm creating new generation. So my new generation file will be like this: mygdg.g00006v00, because we already have 5 generations, so the new generation will be created like this. Step 2, delete the generation file created in step 1. So generation 6 will be deleted. In step 3, I will create another generation. So generation, when I code mygdg of +2, then the new generation will be like this: mygdg.g00007v00. When I code mygdg of +1, then step 3 will create the gdg name as mygdg.g0006v00. You can also practice this example. You just create a gdg base, and first you create 5 gdg versions. Then in the first 3 steps of your job, you can code like this. First step, you are creating new generation. Second step, you can delete, and third step, you can create new generation. In the third step, you just try with +2 and +1. Let's move to the next question. My JCL has 5 steps. I created new version of GDG in the first step through 4th step. In 5th step, I referred the GDG version created in step 1. My JCL got abandoned at the 4th step. What are all the changes required in the JCL to restart the job from the 4th step? This is my JCL. I have 5 steps. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 4th step, it got abandoned. Now I want to restart my job from the 4th step. Since the job abandoned in the 4th step, 3 generation files are already created. Okay, since these 3 generations are already created, you need to make the changes in the 4th step and the 5th step as given in the example below. In the 4th step, I am coding like that: step 4 space exec space gdg1 of +1. In step 5, I coded like this: step 5 exec gdg1 of -2. Next question: how do I override POM value and dataset in JCL? So I have given an example that illustrates how to override the POM value and dataset in JCL. So in this example, PGM1 program receives the POM value 2, and the dataset ttyy.new.ps1 is assigned to dd1. So this is my proc A. In the JCL, I am overriding the value. Next question: what are the advantages of GDG in the real time? See, GDG basically used to specify the common name for multiple datasets. Okay, all datasets have same name and easy to track of adding new and retaining the previous generation, or deleting unwanted generations. Let's take an example of creating monthly report file. I'm creating monthly report file Jan 1 to December 5. In this monthly job, we need to modify the file name each time, or pass the parameter to override the file name each time for the processing. After certain limit or next year, we may need to take a backup or delete the old generation manually. This can be overcome by using GDG. In this case, you can define GDG base with the value limit as 12, so that 12 generation files can be created. Here, no modification is required as we refer GDG base alone. In case of normal PS file, you need to alter the JCL. Whereas in case of GDG, you don't need to worry because you are referring the GDG base name alone. When the requirement is processed with the current data along with the existing data, then the GDG will be helpful for appending the previous day record with the current day generation file. This is another real-time advantage of using GDG. Next one. Assume my below generation are already exist. GDG1 is my GDG base name. I have 4 versions, G1, 2, 3, 4. My JCL contains 4 steps as follows. Mention the correct generation name used in all 4 steps. Step 1. Copy from GDG1 of 0 to PS1 dataset. Step 2. Delete the GDG1 of -2. Step 3. Copy from GDG1 of 0 to GDG1 of +1. Step 4. Copy from GDG1 of -2 to PS2 dataset. The answer is in step 1, I copy GDG1 of 0 to PS1 dataset. Here I am referring the current generation. So the current generation is GDG1.G4. In step 2, I am deleting the generation GDG1 of -2. So GDG1 of -2 refers GDG1.G2. Step 3, I copy the GDG1 of 0 to GDG1 of +1. GDG1 of 0 refers GDG1.G4. GDG1 of +1 refers GDG1.G5. In step 4, I copy from GDG1 of -2 to PS2 dataset. Here GDG1 of -2 refers GDG1.G1 version. Next scenario, I have a proc. It has 5 steps. Step 3 has condition code. How can you override or nullify this condition code? You can provide the override statement, override in the exec statement in the JCL like this. Step 3 exec proc name, comma cond.step name equal to value. All the parameters coded on the exec statement in the procedure such as cond or pom have to be overridden like this. Next question, what is the use of include statement in JCL? An include statement identifies the member of PDS or library that contains. This set of JCL statement is called as include group. The system actually replaces the include statement with the system in the include group. Example, you can use include statement to mention the copybook number. The advantage is it reduces the number of lines of codes. You can reuse the same copybook structure for multiple programs. These are the couple of advantages of include statement. Next question, what is the purpose of like parameter? Like parameter is used to specify the allocation attribute of new dataset by copying the attributes of a model dataset. This must be an existing catalog dataset and reside on the direct access volume. The following attributes are copied from the model dataset to the new dataset: DS.org, record format, logical record length, etc. So look at the example. In this example, the dataset attribute used for user id.test.out2 or obtained from user id.test.out1 DCP parameters.